Hello. First of all, I'm sorry about the beard. I don't care too much. If I have if I have skin issues underneath, this was a skin issue I had to solve. You can't see it. It doesn't really matter too much now. But if I have skin issues underneath my beard, I'm willing to just trim it off with an electric trimmer and just fix the skin issues and then grow it back out. Yeah, sure, it cuts my, like it kills some of my style a bit, but it grows back. Um, so sorry about the branding. However, I think you guys are pretty used to me not having a beard at times. That's fine. So today is I have a very oh, I have a really interesting idea. I think artificial intelligence is actually going to force humanity to do something. Um, it's a funny idea. Um, we're going to have to separate out art from propaganda because propaganda is what you're willing to pay for. True art is what is transformative first to its originator, to its creator. True art isn't about the money you'll make from it. It's about what it does to you by you creating it. Um, so for those of you who don't know, first of all, um, like this is like how I put this. Philosophically, a lot of artists have come to the conclusion, and a lot of, I think John Vervaeke probably has the same conclusion if he actually took a few minutes to think about it. True art functions on a completely different axis than economic forces. And a lot of people are willing to pay for it, which is really funny because then it gives people the illusion that they can sell their art for monetary value. And some people actually make a lot of money off of it. But that does something wonky to art. For very, very, very good example, um, the first, like, the first art where people started making art for the sake of selling it would have been war propaganda. But more recent, very, very, very obvious examples. I'm not just talking like paintings and stuff, even though that's like what when I say that, most people think about that. Twitch streamers have spent literally tens of thousands of dollars on 3D models for like e-girl masks over their body. What they do is they just put on a whole bunch of sensors on their face and on their body, and it uses some of the same stuff that Apple has had. Basically, imagine a filter, but it's overdone, and it just maps your face onto the face of the transfigured version of you. When people do online streaming, a lot of them have personas, and that people use personas, and oftentimes they'll pay artists to do that. But that's like a really modern, that is truly a modern, post internet thing that's been produced. Avatars that can be modeled after you, and not like directly modeled, like with Malcolm Collins. I think he has one that he used AI to create, which fair enough. And I actually think that's a fair reason to use AI because like why? That's not true art. That's propaganda. Art with a purpose for anything but the art is if it's for the purpose of making money, it's no longer art. Once you see an artist is great, the proclivity to pay them is what we've reached for because it's what we've been trained to reach for. Um, it actually, that's not what a true artist should be. Like, that's not how they should be want to be paid. I know, like, yeah, you still have to pay the bills and all that. And, like, yeah, you should pay the artist to sustain their lifestyle, and maybe limit them a little bit, because artists do tend to be way off on the spectrum. Like, they tend to be on the really tail ends of the human spectrum, but that's not the purpose. Brandon Sanderson literally had this speech a couple months ago. I'm telling you now. But like, this is something that psychologists have recently discovered. The best method for one of the more recent methods for to treat PTSD and other psychological ailments is to have people paint or create, because for whatever reason, creative expression heals the soul. The act of creation also acts upon you. It is transfigurative. It is what's the word here? I'm gonna pause so I figure out the word. It's alchemical. There we go. Yes, I do pauses now because I'm trying to make this a little bit more seamless. And I'll eventually stop saying that. Art is an alchemical process where you heal your soul, your inner self, by expressing it on the outside. And it's not like talk therapy, because talk therapy, a lot of times people end up going in circles, they end up going down rabbit holes that aren't there. There's even times when we find out that people get more mentally unwell because therapists accidentally think things are traumatic when they're not. So, like, for example, what's one example? Let's say in your culture it's fine to kiss people on the cheek as you meet them. This was the claim when what was his name? The mayor of New York or whatever tried to get out of the sexual assault allegations. There are cultures that do that, Italy, France, but that's not what was going on there. So set that aside. There are times when what's culturally appropriate, or like in your immediately family, that is appropriate, when therapists are conditioned a different way. Sorry, one second. When therapists are conditioned a different way, they see that and then they think it's not, and then they like tie that into your trauma, and like people get worse sometimes when they go into talk therapy. But actually, if they were to make a practice of sitting down, not even necessarily journaling, maybe they could like use journaling as a way to fray out some of the messy balls of tension in their unconscious. Just fray it out, so that way they could weave it together. You can use that to pick apart some ideas, and then you can use that to create off of. So I'm not a painter, but I am a writer, and sometimes it's just as simple as, or like I also talk, not just these videos. These videos help sometimes, but also there have been times when I've been sitting in my car coming home, and I've just been able to sing. I'm also a singer, and I will just write my own lyrics, and I've forgotten them, sadly, and like that's actually kind of sad for me, because that was a creative experience that I would have liked to have shared, and I don't know if I'll be able to recreate that. But on the flip side, people heal when they create. The act of creativity is transformative and alchemical, and that's so interesting, because like that means there's a different purpose to creativity. It sits on this separate axis of healing you by performing something that God gave you a gift to do, instead of something that people will want. Why would you, like, if you're, I think the true purpose of art isn't actually for any form of money. It's not for any form of exchange. It needs to sit outside of exchange. I think churches need to be able to bring people in, and as part of their healing process, force them to sit down and patiently do something creative, to pull them out of their phones, out of their screens, and make them sit with themselves, and instead of letting them go crazy, instead of letting their brains erupt with all sorts of things, give them something to do that's creative. I write. Simple enough. I will try to do music eventually. I don't know if I'll be able to, but like this YouTube channel is going to end up being one of those things where like I will probably never ask for monetization. I will probably try to one day just become, like, one of the things I'll do is with my friends who have issues, I will try to bring them to my house whenever I buy one and say, here is a paintbrush, here are tools, well, here's your panel to paint on, here's the paint, let's try to let's try to create something here. In fact, like, I'll probably even make sure it's a room with a window, so that way, like, they can just look out. Or in fact, even more so, I want to be able to just have times where I can bring men out to my backyard and set up a campfire, and we don't even have to talk if we don't want to. We can just sit back there and watch and listen and feel the cold breeze on our skins and just experience what little bit of nature we have, the environment there. Because actually, like, people don't do that anymore. People always go, 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 and like there's no procedure, or they've hyper proceduralized their life such that there's no space for just being. All is fast, all is exchange myself for money or myself for things that have to get done. And they've made no time for us. People have made no time for peace, for unwinding, no time for releasing the tensions that build up throughout their day. That's part of what I do while I'm doing this. So yeah, I think this is going to sound crazy. I think AI is going to end up forcing the split where true artists are going to say, don't use my work, period. Do not sell it. People may come and see what it is. I don't want them to steal it. I want this to be for everyone. And it's going to rapidly, like, I want AI to completely eliminate this from the market. I want there to be artists for hire, which get treated like mercenaries. And, like, if there's no work for you, well, tough luck. Like, oh no, we're not at war. You don't get a job. Oh no, boo-hoo. Oh no, we're in like, everyone has AI. Oh no, you don't get a job. Boo-hoo. This isn't supposed to be for a job. This is supposed to be for bettering yourself. It's like martial artists. Most martial artists are actually there to develop themselves. Not, like, yes, they make themselves better for defending others and for making themselves formidable, but, like, that's not the purpose. The purpose is to make themselves better, and that's what we're going to have to transform art into. And that may end up being something worth doing. And, like, I'm sad to say this, but I think That AI is just revealing to us the corrupt system we've built, where even the thing that transforms you can be sold. We're selling the philosopher's stone, and it loses its ability to save you. It loses its ability to transfigure and to perform alchemy on you, to change you from one element to another. It loses that ability to transform you because you've had to comply and make something for someone else, but not for someone else, for a system where other people can buy that other thing, that thing from you. It's why, how do I put this? It's why I'm mildly disappointed in Jonathan Peugeot. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful book. So if you say the book as an art piece and that's something you want to share with your children, okay. But like, why don't people write things that are for free for everyone? Like, if you want to save the world, you can't make it at a cost. The cost is at you. The cost is you sacrifice who you used to be. That's what Jesus did. He sacrificed himself to save the world, and that's what the artist should be doing. And I think that's going to be the next step of human evolution. I know that's weird to say. I don't like, that's probably not the right terminology right there. But I think that the next step in society is art's going to have to move off to the side. There's no longer going to be the ability to sell your art, because AI is, like, I think this is for the betterment of humanity, that humans are going to be forced to, if they want to see true beautiful art, it's going to have to be set aside as an artisan talent, and a lot of it, the most profound parts of it, are going to have to be free to the world to see. Yeah. Thank you for your time. I think it is a. Before I thought, oh no, this is not good. What about all these artists that are going to lose all their jobs? And then it just hit me. Wait a second. We have these extremely unwell people in society that we claim should be praised and honored for their capabilities as artists. I'm just like, wait a second. These people aren't actually that talented. They just managed to meet the requirements of the system that converted your soul into money. Straight up, they're selling their soul. And like, you see it in how these people behave. There's a lot of people that just crash out. They go on drugs and they just die, either physically or spiritually. If they don't die physically, the vast majority of them who survive die spiritually. And like, they have all this money, so there's no consequences on the material level. So it all goes to the spiritual level, and they become like shells of who they could have been. So with that, I have to say, it is best for humans that we no longer see art as we have to start treating it as a tool for salvation, instead of a means to convert my soul into money. Thank you.